This is Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and this podcast series is called Spiritual Immersion, Taking the Plunge. And the intention of these podcasts, this particular series, is to kind of maybe give you some information from my perspective, my experience, and perhaps it'll support and empower you to step into your own spiritual immersion process. I think of taking the plunge as deep, diving into the deep end of the river or the lake or the ocean or a pool, when actually it's really taking one incremental step at a time, dipping your toe into the water, see what that's like, experimenting with maybe 2 toes and then 3 toes. And soon you are immersed in your spiritual process. You're more in relationship to yourself, in who you are as a spiritual being, as well as the human being, and as well as the egoic being, as we say, the being that wants to survive, the ego part that wants the identities that will help it think that it's safe and that you need it. But that's another story. Today I want to focus on karma and, in a sense, what karma is about. My experience and my, some of the moments that was like, oh my God, I totally get what karma is about. It's not about punishment and it's not about rewards. It's about learning to be accountable for what shows up in your life. So something negative shows up, some uncertainty, some loss. That's usually what we're most upset about, is when we experience loss. But we might experience an accident or something unforeseen shows up. And we go, oh, it's bad karma. Or something good shows up. We go, that's good karma. But the point is that karma shows up as an opportunity to see things differently, to see, wow, in the past I have done things this way, and I've done it even though I wasn't aligned with my highest truth, my highest knowing. And I did it for the reasons that I wanted something. I wanted to get something. I wanted to avoid something. And quite often karmic experiences show up that says, hey, take a look at this. Here's an opportunity to do it differently, or to see it differently, or think about it differently, or feel it differently. And so when we're willing to do that, then karma, in a sense, becomes the opportunity to grow ourselves into greater wisdom, if you will. And wisdom is really just the opportunity and the ability to take intelligence and distinguish that from our beliefs and our conditionings and our trainings and all the ways that we want to avoid and ignore the stuff that's hard to be with. And so as we gain wisdom, we go, look, this is just a big fat be with. This is something that you can't change. This is something that you, in a sense, have to come to accept, that this is what is. And in that, then, how do you be in your highest truth, your highest knowing? How do you be most authentic and transparent with yourself in these experiences? So again, quite often we see karma as a bad thing, versus an opportunity to really be accountable for how you're experiencing life, how you're seeing it, how you interpret it, how you choose based on those circumstances. So it's a really, that was for me one of the best opportunities, the best ways of describing karma, so that it wasn't like a bad karma, good karma thing. And with saying that, I'll share a small story with you. Many years ago, when I was studying to be a therapist, I was working at a restaurant as a waitress, and and I wasn't in integrity. There were a couple of things, I'll say minor, but they were things where I was out of integrity. And within a very short week, some very interesting things showed up, which, like, my shoes, I was in a church and I had my shoes off and went to get my shoes disappeared. And a contact flew out of my eye in a way that was just like totally, like, it's not possible it could do that, but it did that. And there was a third thing that I can't remember. But it was like, okay, this is telling me I'm not in integrity. I'm I'm kind of cheating here, or I'm lying, or I'm doing something that is not in alignment with my highest truth and my highest good. So I decided I didn't want those kinds of absurd little things to happen, like my shoes disappearing. I didn't have a second pair of shoes to walk home with. So it was just those kinds of indications that maybe you're not in alignment with what you know to be true. You may you may have a particular attitude in the world. You might have a particular mood that you're displaying. You might be avoiding and ignoring some things that are really important in life, some life lessons, and in that things start to happen, and you go, "Why are bad things happening to me?" And it's like, maybe I better look at that. Maybe I better check out myself to see what am I not doing? How am I not in alignment with my highest truth, my highest knowing, my highest good? And that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. The challenge is that we are continually being presented with opportunities to expand who we are in our highest knowing and our highest truth. We're always given an opportunity to know ourselves, in a sense, our energetic, vibrational self. We have an opportunity to know ourselves in the higher realms, the higher frequencies, the higher vibrations, and to know ourselves in those lower vibrations. Lately, I've been taking on a practice called Ho'oponopono, and it's really about being in right relationship with ourselves. And when we're in right relationships with ourselves, we start to clear out that energy. And as we do that for ourselves, we are doing it with other people and for other people. There's lots of stories about miracles and amazing things about Ho'oponopono. But for me, it's been really a great opportunity, in a sense, a karmic learning to be accountable for my karmic patterns, learning to be accountable for how I perhaps see other people or perceive other people or project onto other people what I don't see in myself. So, for instance, being around people who want to be right all the time. And I go, man, that is so annoying to be around people who always want to be right, always want to have the right answer, always want to look cool, always want to look great. But from this perspective of the ability to see, why is that showing up in my life? What's the karma here? What am I to be accountable for here? Then I begin to go, oh, gosh, I know how often I like to be right. I know how often I do things. I know how often I, have an attitude of I'm right and you're not. And that righteousness is not necessarily in alignment with my highest truth and my highest good, though I have been practicing it for a very long time. So this practice of Ho'oponopono has kind of brought me into alignment with perhaps some of my karmic patterns, being more accountable for noticing how I'm being, noticing what's showing up and who's showing up, and the negativity in the world, or the negativity of a certain person, or a negativity of a circumstance, and for me to go, what's that in me? So I become more and more accountable for what's showing up in my life. Part of the every spiritual practice and tradition is to be 100% accountable, 100% responsible for what's showing up in your life. And you, as a co-creator, that's the way it is. And so the more responsibility we can take and own and then utilize, then the greater capacities for ourselves to expand in ways that we don't even know. I have no idea what will be the end results of these practices of Ho'oponopono or any of the other ones that I do. I do know that I feel better, and I do know that I really appreciate that I can see that rather than blaming or shaming or projecting, those people, that I have my own attitudes and my own attachments to my righteousness or my indignation that's harmful to me, It's not allowing love for me, and it's not allowing love for other people. It's not allowing love in. It's a lot of stuff, the consequences of holding negative patterns. And so this practice of spiritual immersion is letting go of these negative patterns that quite often we don't even acknowledge or recognize until we start to. So again, the practice or seeing, when we use the word karma, good karma, bad karma, it's really an opportunity to notice the degree to which we are accountable for what's showing up in our life. So that's pretty much it for today, for now. If you have any questions, I'm happy to hear from you, or comments or feedback. You can email me at rosie@theparadigmshifts.com, or you can visit my website, theparadigmshifts.com. All right, big hugs. Bye for now.